And we're on.
Hello, and welcome to another evening of Dungeons and Dad Jokes. Um, ta-da! I am gearing up to go to RenCon to run a couple games this weekend. You can check that out on the RenCon schedule. Get your tickets and then schedule some games so that they have that information. It's on our website, danddadjokes.com. You can check that out. Under the upcoming events, which you have to skip the first 3 because we haven't updated the website yet.
They all came so fast.
You've been busy. You've been taking care of my other daughter.
And to be fair, I came home from Frankfurt sick. And then went straight to a CanCon.
I thought we always thought you were. Well, anyway.
Oh man. So yeah, we've been running around like madhouse. So check out our website. You'll have to scroll through. We'll get 2025 dates on there before too long. And get rid of some of the things that we've already attended.
2023.
Yeah, 2023. So yeah, just check that out. All of the links to our social media can be found in the description of this video as well as on our website. So you can get to them in either direction. I don't think RenCon's coming up, and then December 7th, there's something else. I can't ever remember what it is.
Louisville pop culture event where we will be taking a trip on the Northern Locomotive.
All right. So check that
Someone's
out.
having a birthday that day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not me.
Well, not
Just
me either, but
my grandson.
Hey. And in a couple of months, I'll be able to talk more about my grandson.
Yeah.
I'll finally have one.
Well, eventually I might get to talk about a great grandchild. I don't know.
Eventually, perhaps. So I think that's it. Any announcements that I'm not aware of that needs to be said?
Less than 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Before I start around the world.
Yeah, before you go traipsing around the world.
Again.
All right.
Nice so much the first time. I want to do it again.
Well, you know, it's good to do every now and then. All right. So let's go ahead and get started in tonight's session then. It's session 88 entitled Treason. And because I am off my game, I do not have a town crier to read from. So what happened last week? You guys made it to Yashul. Through scrying and whatnot, you figured out that's where Claston was. So you made it to Yashul. You took Annika, the betrothed, to Claston, introduced them, and then had to make some decisions. I believe there was some scrying, or maybe the crystal ball, where you were looking in on the great dragon, Aurelius, and got an image of the Ulgaric and the graveyard that sits beneath it. So you're not sure about that yet, but you also have a trek to go to White Lake. There is a wedding to take place there too. I can't remember what exactly drew you to White Lake other than that wedding. Because
it's because
Stroll Duck.
No, it's because of Fune. Something she said, and having to take care of something. Anyway, it has to do with following up on Fune.
Fune, when she was escaping, made a comment that we then asked
Fune at
the time. About killing somebody. Yes. Why don't you just go ahead and kill him or something to that effect? And then we went and spoke to Stroll Duck. He said that there was somebody there that may have correlated to.
That's right. Something about the king of White Lake. I I am remembering that now. The king of White Lake had affected or mentored, encouraged, inspired, pick your word, Gara in her spiritual journey. I do remember that. So yes, you were on your way to White Lake. I think you transformed into clouds and made your way there. Turned back into yourselves outside of White Lake. Forsyth is not a halfling at this point, right? You are something else. So you are not recognized.
Right. I am a Vidalcan.
Oh, that's right, a Vidalcan.
So I'm blue.
Gotta
okay,
be.
Guys. as we're moving towards White Lake, across the lake, we're going by boat or ferry actually, because there is one there. I'm gonna let you all know this because I think you deserve to. Be very careful in this town. It is, well, I'd say it's a high crime area, but it's like King Blenhume and his queen, Uri, they live about 6 miles south of town in their castle with their son Porter. But the problem is, they are more like a crime boss than a king and queen. They kind of run it with a heavy hand, iron fisted, and think Boss Hog. And all of the constabulary work for them. And if you're a friend of theirs, hey, you can get away with a lot. But we are going in as unknowns, and therefore people will be watching us. Just letting you know that, which is one reason I don't want to appear as myself, because let's put it this way. Things happened before I left, and I was glad to get out of town before they caught up with me.
Okay.
So if you meet any green trees, I'm not a green tree now. I'm just me.
So what should we call you? Because I don't think that calling you Forsyth in town is a good idea.
Yeah, that's probably a good call. I'm trying. I'm trying to figure out a good name to go by here.
George. You shall hug him and squeeze him and
yeah. George works. I don't, but George does.
A good Vulcan name.
Your guess
Actually,
is as good as mine.
Yeah, I did have a Vidalcan name.
I'd have to go to my name generator.
No, I'd have to go to my other characters. I have a Vidalcan character in a game. Let's see, Wilfred. Call me Wilfred Wildmount.
Wilfred.
Okay.
That'll work.
Wilfred.
When in doubt, shout it out, Wilfred.
All right. You make it across the ferry as you're going across. You recognize that the lake does indeed appear white, but it is due to it looking down into the waters. You see several smooth, like I said, several smooth white stones. But the more you look at them, the more you realize that these are eggs. And you do see a few turtles swimming around the eggs, and that is most likely where it gets its name. It makes the waters look white. So you head across the lake. You make it to the other side, and you do see 2 guards at the exit of the docks where the ferry has come across. And they halt. State your name and business.
Oh. My name is Kopic Trinston, and I'm simply visiting.
And the rest of you?
They are not Kopic Trinston, but they're visiting as well.
I think we figured that one out. They don't look like you.
So we could have all had the same name.
That would be confusing.
I could have made us all look like him. Not going to tell him that, though. Hi, Wilfred. How do you do?
Well. And you are?
You can call me Evangeline.
I'm Kadath.
And you are all here just to visit.
Is there another reason to come?
Well, for me, everything is about learning, because that is the mantra of the Vidalcan. We want to learn, and we learn by visiting places.
That is valid. Keep your noses clean. Stay out of trouble.
What does olfactory cleanliness have to do with? Okay, anyway.
You will figure out the colloquialism, the saying.
I learned.
Is there any response whatsoever to Buckley?
No, there is not.
Okay.
They notice that Buckley is following you and realize that he's probably something of your making, or
that's our puppy dog.
Yeah. They say
it looks more like an elk.
Enjoy your time in White Lake. And he will step aside and let you pass. You do feel several eyes upon you. You have been noticed, and you are being watched, just as Forsyth had said.
As you walk into the city. I'm used to being watched. As me, I'm used to being watched by Kadath.
That's true. You're always being watched by somebody. So where do you go in White Lake? You know where the castle is and where this person you assume, or at least had mention of from Strolduck, would most likely be. What would you like to do? It is a large enough town that there is market, there is, general stores and things of that nature.
Multiple inns.
It is clustered. The buildings, especially the closer you get kind of toward the center, the closer the buildings are. So it looks like it started as a very small town, very dense, and as it kind of grew in population, they kind of spread out just a little bit. But you did notice on your flight over here that it is the only town within miles. So this is the only civilization.
I recommend we actually
that people can go to.
I recommend we start at an inn. Make it look like we are actually just visiting.
I think that's a great idea.
So, live the part until we're ready to do our thing.
All right. You go to the closest inn. Do you have a favorite haunt, Forsyth? Or would you not even chance it and go someplace else?
I would probably, well, it is one way to test the illusion. So I'm going to go to the Turtle Inn.
All right.
It's not always that slow there, but
All right, you lead the group kind of in and toward the Turtle Inn. And as you approach the building, it's amid a cluster of buildings, of course, and you do see a sign above it that has a turtle. It's very similar to the turtles you saw swimming in the White Lake. Um, and you go in. It's lively. You guys came this direction in the morning, didn't you? So there is a lively for an inn in the morning, for sure. There's several people here. Many of them are having, eggs and bacon and whatnot that is being served to them.
They have a great turtle soup.
They do have a turtle soup. Not usually prepared for breakfast, but
Oh.
but yeah, and you come in and there's people scattered in various tables. There's empty tables. There's room at the bar, wherever you want to go.
Okay, I'm going to recommend everybody else take a seat, and I'm going to go book us some rooms for a week. Whether we leave early or not, it's not going to matter.
Okay. All right.
So, and I will pay for that out of my meager belongings.
All right. You book a couple of rooms for a week. It'll be, I don't know, 7 gold.
Oh, 7 gold a day or 7 gold total?
7 gold for the full week.
Ah, okay.
Gold a day.
Wow.
They don't get very many travelers. You know this. But it's available for people that come through. So you book a couple of rooms for the week. You check out the rooms. I don't know if you want to drop off stuff or just it'll just be there for when you sleep. Or and then you go and find a table, order some food. Is there anything in particular you want to do, or are you just kind of listening to gossip? Or
for right now, I'd recommend we just listen, pay attention to what's going on, and follow our noses. We seem to be pretty good at that. Especially since my nose is clean now.
You've cleaned it out.
I will take a moment and see if any organization members are in this town.
All right. You take a moment to kind of reach out. And you kind of sit there for a little bit. You do not sense any Jagged Dream presence here.
Make a mental note that we'll have to change that.
I'm going to look to see if anyone's actually paying overly much attention to us.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me. Go ahead and roll me insight for that.
Insight. You would do insight.
Well, isn't insight wisdom based?
Unnatural 20.
Oh no, it's charisma based, isn't it? Unnatural 20. Well, you still rolled a 20. So, with your insight, you definitely pick up that there are several people that take note of you because you are new. You're not a regular. You're not townspeople that they recognize. So several people do take note of you, but there are a few. There's one at the bar that seems to be what you would recognize Forsyth is probably guard, like town guard. Probably off duty, but he's there. He is watching. And there is another gentleman kind of in a corner with a couple of other people, but he seems to be watching as well while he's kind of carrying on conversations with a couple of people.
Guard is doing what guards do. I'm going to detect thoughts on the other person.
All right.
While he's doing that, I am looking around the room. I'm taking note of ways to exit.
Okay.
And that kind of stuff.
You can roll me investigation for that.
Okay.
because to see it is to see it, but to calculate what would be exit strategy and things like that would be an investigation.
Okay. 25.
25. All right. You notice in this end, of course, after you dropped off some, well, you didn't drop off stuff, but you checked where your rooms were and things like that, that there is definitely an exit from the upper level to an outside area or where there is a set of stairs to leave. There is definitely the front door that you walked in, and there is another door toward the back that seems to lead to possibly some private rooms or some other, like sleeping rooms, other accommodations and such. And then, of course, there is the door back that you believe is to the kitchen because it's behind the bar, kitchen/storage area, things like that. Other than that, you do see there are several windows. All of them are open right now because it's morning. They're all open. The sun is shining in. And they're all relatively large windows. You can tell that this inn probably, definitely during the day, uses the windows as lighting and probably lights the chandeliers as the sun is setting to provide the lighting for nighttime. It's a little unusual in that respect that most inns don't have such large windows and whatnot, but this inn definitely takes advantage of the natural light. And you can see some people walking through.
Anybody I recognize yet?
Nobody right offhand.
All right,
not yet.
Back to the thoughts then.
Yeah, back to the thoughts. Kadeth and Fix, what are you guys doing? Are you doing anything? Or are you just enjoying food and drink and waiting for somebody else to say something?
Just waiting.
Oh, you are muted.
Ex-copper.
Fix.
I'm probably keeping an eye out, making sure, making sure that nothing misses up, that I trying not to miss anything myself. At this point, am I still connected to my mother? Because that lasts 24 hours. I don't know.
I do believe, yes, you would be.
Okay.
Maybe only for a couple of hours, but yes.
Then I would relay my suggestion to her of us making a presence here, or asking why we haven't.
She will respond to you relatively quickly that beyond the steadfast is just that. What happens out here was out of necessity or desire. We've just never made it to White Lake.
From all reports I have, their ruling class rules this more like a crime family. So might be something to
look into.
Other than that, that's all.
Fiefdom.
Oh.
Fiefdom. All right. And you can go ahead and roll me a perception Fix. You detect thoughts on the gentleman that's kind of keeping an eye on you. And you hear immediately a bit of concern. You sense that immediately is a bit of concern. And
Blue
you
guy
hear
with a crown.
with a crown, I know, right? With the Vidalka, I forgot you had that tiara. And with a tiara. And you hear him think, like, right off the top of his head is not a good time for unpredictable elements.
22.
22. All right. With your perception, you do start to notice that there are several people that kind of just make eye contact with each other occasionally across the room and whatnot, almost like they're acknowledging one another as being there. And you would kind of pick up on that they are, well, yeah, just that they are acknowledging one another, but they don't approach one another. They're just kind of like, okay, you're there. They just kind of look over and move on, um, trying not to make it obvious at all. And every now and then, they'll shift their eyes to the guard that's sitting at the bar that Forsyth had already pointed out.
Interesting.
Forsyth, do you want to dig deeper or just kind of shift around or just list the
I
surface thoughts?
prefer I didn't alert anyone at this point to the fact that I can even read their surface thoughts. So I'm just going to let them know that seems our presence here is badly timed for someone, but I'm not sure who yet. So the longer we stay, the more attention gets diverted away from us. But for now, probably good to tread lightly.
Okay.
Until we have a better idea of what's going on.
It seems like those folks, and he'll kind of give a description of where they're at without making any sort of visible
those people
indication.
over there.
Yeah, and start pointing at them. No. Just, the one in the corner of the southeast, those sorts of vague descriptions through the link. They seem to be associates of some sort.
You'll find there's a lot of people, associates in this town, as infrastructure, if you will, just in the way the town's run, because the king has his finger in every pot, and there's a structure within that makes sure that he gets paid off. So pretty much nothing happens in this town where he isn't somehow involved.
Are the guards in on this association? Because they seem to be watching him, but he is not. Doesn't seem to acknowledge that they are there.
We'll call it a loose association. As far as the guards, they work for someone who works for someone who works for the king. So it's a back scratching thing. Everything is what's the term I'm looking for? Quid pro quo.
Huh. Okay.
And if you ain't got no quid,
you don't get pro quo.
You don't get any pro quo.
Right now we have no standing. The longer we're here, even if it's just days, the attention grows less if they haven't seen anything, and they'll lose focus on us after a while.
I look down at myself, and the fact that I'm wearing a pretty obvious set of armor that has now had, I'm guessing, 2, maybe 3 dragon scales attached to it.
A couple, yeah.
I don't think subtlety is really.
Yeah, it's not a big thing for us, is it?
Well,
I'm subtle like a brick.
Blend into the background until I start pulling things out of my pocket.
I can become the background, so.
I mean,
true. And then Kadeth will just be standing there.
I could, when we're not in such public view, change it to be a bit less conspicuous. I could walk around looking like a smith or something. But
I think the damage is already done.
True.
They have espied you.
And it's not like we used, well, the rest of us didn't use false names. So if any of them are familiar with anything going outside or in Key, then they will probably know who we are.
Yeah, it's not like your family name doesn't reverberate.
True.
Well, outside of home.
We'll see how things go down. But
you continue to eat and drink and share silent thoughts.
while we're sharing silent thoughts, so that it doesn't seem very conspicuous, I'd be making like general small talk, like just random.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nothing like a group of people that just sit there and stare at each other.
Yeah.
Like,
This stew's better than I had imagined. It's actually pretty good. Would you like another ale?
Despite knowing what's good for lunch, I'm presuming we're going to stay there in the end, talking all the way into lunch.
Yeah, quite possibly.
I will eventually ask the waitress over and say, "What's good to eat here? I am searching for new experiences, new knowledge, and I wanted to try whatever the best local cuisine is."
Well, if you have the money for it, the delicacy here is, of course, the Ferrex turtle eggs. Those are the delicacy. But of course, we also have, turtle stew and I don't know, she'll rattle off some kind of root vegetable soup served in a turtle shell, things like that. Everything's turtle oriented. All the things. Almost everything she rattles has something to do with turtles.
Right.
Turtle power.
Turtle power.
Thus the name, Turtle Inn.
But of course, the delicacy is, of course, the turtle eggs.
Yes, I should try the turtle eggs.
Very well.
Already knowing what they taste like.
Yep. She will go back and they will begin to prepare that. As you're waiting for your turtle eggs, you will see Forsyth, a familiar face, walk in. Though older, because it's been some time since you've been here.
Day or two.
Yeah, a day or two. You will see Harvin walk in. He walks in, and you kind of spy him almost immediately. He makes contact. He notices the person whose thoughts you were detecting, and he just kind of makes eye contact and then goes to the bar, orders some food. He sits down at the bar. He seems to be by himself.
Much as I would love to get up and talk with Harvin, I don't want to be noticed talking to him. And I will actually, for the moment, I will sit back and enjoy my turtle eggs and just take note of him.
All right.
But I might follow him out when he leaves.
All right.
Might.
As you guys are, continuing to watch, you probably take notice of Forsyth seeing that gentleman, because you guys travel together and you recognize each other's tells. Is there anything else that you guys wish to be doing?
I'm going to go to my room. And I'm going to use the orb. And I'm going to look into Forsyth.
Okay.
I'm going to specifically look into Forsyth on people that he may have had interactions with and stuff for. I got your back knowledge. I'm not like trying to delve into his personal business, but
so you're just trying to kind of see some images of people that he's interacted with over the years or whatever. Okay.
I'm really focusing in on the past, not trying to focus on any of the present/future stuff.
All right, you're gonna focus in on Forsyth with that as you dig into the crystal ball. Evangeline steps up. She says she's gonna spend some time in her room. You know where she's going. What are you doing, Fix? You started to say something.
Looking around, if any of them look towards us or look at me while we're sitting there or whatnot, or while I'm looking around, I'm gonna purposely like make eye contact and give them a big old smile.
Okay. You're gonna unnerve a few people.
Maybe even a little wave.
It'd be worse if they had Kadath looking at them.
That's true. Kadath, do you try to smile? That might be more intimidating.
I'm just gonna sit there.
Could have been worse. We could have had James back.
That's true. Or Deeth could be with you. All right, you just sit there and kind of just eat and drink and watch. Then.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Now, question: motivation with your smile and hand wave. Are you trying to present yourself as just being non-aggressive, or are you trying to present yourself as being personable, like you want to talk to people?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
All right. A little bit of both. All right. Evangeline.
Okay.
While you're looking through the crystal ball, you see a fairly young halfling running through the streets. He seems to be running away from something. And you see a little something kind of tucked in a cloak, basically. The cloak is kind of tattered. It's not it was okay. I mean, it was well made, but it's definitely worn and old. It was probably a hand-me-down to him. And you see something kind of tucked in the cloak, and you see him darting through a street and kind of ducking off into an alley. And you hear, as you kind of follow him a little bit through this alley, you hear a gentleman step forward and it's like, no, there was nobody came down here. And what you kind of catch as a glimpse looks very similar to the man that Forsyth, only older, now it's been some time, but you see a man that looks very similar to the man that seemed to have caught Forsyth's attention when he walked in and went to the bar. And he just kind of, you hear him kind of step forward. He seems to be having an interaction with the guard. You hear some muffled voices as you kind of disappear following Forsyth. You also catch another gentleman that it opens a door, and as he's running, you're following him, and he opens a door, walks outside the door, but leaves the door open, and just kind of turns his back. And you catch this gentleman, seems to be a little shorter than the other gentleman, lighter colored hair. Both of these gentlemen are human. Matter of fact, you notice a lot of these people here are human. And very, very few other races. Like, it's very few. But this gentleman had lighter hair, seems to be a little shorter than the other one. And he just kind of steps out the door, kind of turns his back, seems to be fiddling with something. You're not really sure. But as you're following Forsyth through here, he ducks into the door. And you follow him kind of through a house to a side door and out that side door, and he shuts the side door, and you see him attempt to change. You've seen him change now, but it looks like he kind of attempts to change, but couldn't really solidify another shape. And he just kind of shrugs his shoulder and keeps moving on. And your vision kind of stops after that.
Okay. I'll make a mental note of the two gentlemen and what they looked like, realizing that they've probably aged quite a bit, and just tuck that information away.
All right. So you kind of get that information. So you have those images in your head. Fix.
Yes.
After a little bit, you see a gentleman get up from the corner table where the one guy was watching and come over to your table. And he brings his drink with him. And he comes over and he says, he kind of sets his drink down on the table, takes a seat. He says, I notice y'all are new in town.
Just arrived.
Are you interested in seeing some sights?
We're not interested.
Well, for a small fee, I can take you a tour about the city, teach you some of the history and some of the important events that has happened here at White Lake.
Knowledge, I will say.
Oh, important events, such as?
Well, of course, the founders, the first building built here that started the town to begin with, the monument to the great, what is his name? Celescore, to the great Celescore, who helped to solidify this town and protected it from the great calamity of the Third Age. And he'll kind of rattle off a few events that's typical of any town, basically.
Oh. And what nominal fee would this cost us?
Why, it would only cost you 3 gold.
And what's your name?
Oh, my name is... What is my name? Hold on, I gotta
look.
If
you don't know your own name, how do you know this town?
Where was your mommy raising you? Didn't she call you something? Not. Oh,
my
anyway,
name...
I'm not going to say that.
my name is Mirtu. Oh gosh, now I gotta remember another name.
All right, Mirtu.
That's why you write it down.
I don't know. 3 gold. I'm kind of poor, so can you do 2?
He gives you a very strange look when you say you're poor. Your armor would state otherwise.
Oh, this I made it myself. DIY.
Yeah, you
He's
still have
that
to get
good.
the materials.
Besides, why do you think he's poor?
Yeah.
Oh, now
I
that
mean,
I can believe.
When you mine the materials yourself and you obtain the dragon scales yourself, it gets a lot cheaper. And he puts an emphasis on the word dragon.
Magnificent creature.
An emphasis on the syllable.
The emphasis. The 2 gold, and you tell me the story of that dragon.
That
What do
might
you
be
think?
worth it.
Yeah. Okay.
We like telling stories.
Very well.
All right.
On the morrow? Or would you... I'll look to the group. Or would you guys rather we start now?
I say that I would rather wait a day because I have some other things I want to research before adding that knowledge.
So yes, on the morrow.
Research, you say. On the morrow. And research, you can do that at the City Hall, where it contains the great library of White Lake.
Noted.
The emphasis or non-emphasis on the great library.
Yes,
I think it's
of course, because he doesn't understand that we've been to towns that would fit this inside their city hall.
Very well. Then I will meet you here out front of this Turtle Inn tomorrow morning.
That works fine.
After breakfast.
Wonderful. Wouldn't have it any other way.
Very well. Feel free to, if you see me around, if you got questions, I'm there to answer them.
Well, that would be much appreciated.
All right. I will see you tomorrow then. He smiles. He gets up, takes his ale, gives you a little nod like a little toast, and turns around and walks back over to the table and sits down with his back towards you.
Over the link, I'll tell Forsyth when we go on this tour, ask him all the hard questions.
I can do that.
You're gonna make him work for his money? How dare you?
As a Vidalcan, knowing that they want knowledge, yes, I guess that would be appropriate anyway. Having knowledge of this town, I can ask him questions that even he couldn't answer.
Probably. All right. So you have a little bit of knowledge. I need passive insights. I need passive insights. I almost
14.
said perception, but insight would work better. 14.
Passive is 14.
Oh, you're not there, Evangeline. Fix.
17.
17, Kadeth.
Wait, passive what?
Insight.
Oh, insight. Not much. 16.
16.
That's more than mine.
Not bad. All right.
Everybody's is better than mine.
Right. With even Forsyth, you're gonna notice this too. When you said tomorrow, he was like, at that point he had kind of a front, and he's like, okay, because we were kind of, you could tell he was kind of hoping to do it that evening.
Yeah.
Not really sure
That's
why.
What bothers me.
But you kind of picked up on that. All three of you did. But he seemed to roll with it, and he's like, okay, tomorrow morning. And then, he turned around and he sat down with his back towards you, back at the table with the guy that you detected his thoughts. And Kadeth and Fix, you will know that he is inconspicuously communicating. You can tell by his body language and just kind of looking at his body language, the way he sat down, the way he's I know I repeated, and the way he's kind of holding his drink and whatnot. You can tell through your insight that he is communicating with the other person, but at a level that the people at the table may or might not even notice, aside from the person that he's communicating with.
Helps that we're used to doing that ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. Scrying would take too long to cast.
Forsyth, what are his surface thoughts?
I will cast. I had my use of one, but I still can cast.
How long does it last?
Oh, detect thoughts.
Yeah.
It's concentration up to 1 minute. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you would have to recast it then.
If I could do it inconspicuously, I'm gonna cast detect magic.
Probably. I mean, it has got people in it. There's more people now that it's, lunchtime, a little past lunchtime. There's more people in here. You could probably get away with it.
Okay.
Yeah, a little second level detect thoughts.
Okay. You detect thoughts on that person, and you kind of catch almost the tail end of a conversation. Kind of a perhaps postponing wouldn't be a bad idea. It's kind of
okay. Interesting. I will pass that across the link. They sound like they have something set up for us. It's an ambush of some type. But then we're not easily ambushed, especially when we have an idea of what's coming.
Are you sure we're the targets?
I'm not sure we're the target, but he seemed awful interested, and he came to us to want to lead us somewhere. So that doesn't bode very well, does it? So, but we need to be on our game tomorrow when we meet with him to follow him.
You see the guard get up and leaves. He seems to be kind of a little bit in a hurry at this point. He's probably late. He gets up, he leaves. A few minutes later, you see Harvin get up and leave.
I am going to leave a gold coin on the table for the food, not knowing how much it costs, but having an idea I'm overpaying. Guys, I'm going to go for a stroll outside to enjoy the sunshine. I'll be back. And I go follow Harvin.
Okay. Do you want to follow him stealthily, or do you want to follow him and not worry about if he notices you following him?
I'm going to, at first, just follow the general direction. If there are any turns made, then I will reevaluate.
Okay. All right. As you follow, they go pretty straight. And it is after you follow for a little bit, it's obvious that Harvin is kind of following this guard. And trying to kind of do the same thing to the guard that you're doing to Harvin.
Who watches the watcher?
Yeah, who watches the watcher? And so after a little bit, you do see the guard kind of disappear into a barracks. And you see Harvin kind of mark an area that you will recognize as being a thieves' camp for no-go. Like, don't go there. And so he's kind of marking it as a no-go for the thieves through the thieves' camp. And then he turns and kind of heads off in another direction that you believe is probably where he lives.
Now I will go stealth.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I only got a 13 on my stealth.
That's bad for you. Don't you have like a plus 10?
Plus 9.
Plus 9?
Yeah, I only rolled a 4, so
oh, man.
I can do about that.
Well, that's all right. He rolled a 7. Okay.
He probably doesn't expect anybody to be following him in this town.
Well, he goes. You watch him, and he does indeed go to his home. He goes inside, and shuts the door behind him. What do you do?
I immediately step up to the door and knock on it.
Okay. Well, you hear kind of some stutter steps going on in the house because he definitely did not expect anybody to knock on his door 3 seconds after he shut it.
That's the way to do it.
And then the door opens, and he kind of gets taken back because, you were Vidalcan, and he says, "Can I help you, sir?"
I will say in a deeper voice, I know you, but But you may not know me yet. But you knew me, even though you don't know it. Can we speak?
I mean, I'm not sure how you know me. I don't think I've ever met anyone of your kind. He kind of looks you over a little bit.
I mean, you no harm.
Come in.
For when you knew me, you were a help.
Oh, interesting. Come in. I'll pour you a drink. And he'll let you in. Shut the door behind you. He kind of fiddles with a couple of mugs and whatnot and sets down like an ale in front of you.
I will take a small sip of it, but I'm not going to down it. I want to keep my wits.
Drink, 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 drink.
It seems that you have a distrust for the guards in this town. Is there a reason for that?
You can see him get visibly nervous, and he kind of looks around a little bit. And he says, yeah, I mean, most people actually do.
Why would you follow a guard to his house?
Well, there are several in the city that don't know where to avoid or to watch out for.
That's understandable. By the way, where's your friend Deal?
Oh, this time of day he's probably at the Miners Guild.
No curiosity as to how I would know your friend?
Yeah, I'm curious. I was hoping you would elaborate a little bit, like you know. I mean, I don't want to divulge all this information about Deal. I don't know how you know me or him.
Do you remember a family named Shido?
I do. Kind of hard to forget him, considering apparently the young Miss Shido is going to be the next queen.
Maybe, maybe not. What do you know about the family?
I know that they'd kind of do anything to make their way to the top, which I guess they managed. They did have another though, a boy.
Tell me about him.
He was a free spirit.
Pain in the ass. Oh.
Pain in the ass.
Switch off.
The free spirit was the nice way to, he was a free spirit. Got him out of many troubles. And then he left town.
Do you think he might feel he owes you a debt?
No, I'd do the same for any.
What if I were to tell you that he feels he owes you a debt?
I would say I wouldn't know how to ask him to repay. I mean, if he's living his best life elsewhere, then job succeeded.
Maybe his best life includes his sister not having her best life.
Well, I could see that. There was much animosity there.
And at that point, I will shapeshift back into what he would know.
And then he will get a shocked look and Forsyth. Is it just your sister that brings you back here?
That's part of what brings us back here. There are many things that lead to us being back here, and being able to ruin her day as she ruined my life or so she thought, is just a fortuitous brain went dead. It's just a good thing. The timing is just great.
Yeah, well, you might want to do so before Saturday.
Well, we're going to be in town for a
5 days
little while.
From
now. She won't ever know who I am. Right now, only you know who I am, other than my companions.
It's probably best to keep it that way.
They are formidable companions. In fact, I myself am formidable in many ways you don't want to find out.
Well, I mean, you have mastered this shifting, which is quite impressive.
That's a minor thing. And I will just for the fun of it shapeshift into a dire wolf because it fits in the house.
It does, yeah. Yeah, please
I don't want to do an earth elemental. It's just a little too big, yeah. And then I will shift back. As you can see, the capabilities are many.
Nice.
But there are many ways to repay her for all that she's given me.
Wow.
And being I owe you, I want to help you to succeed because it doesn't sound like you want anything for her either.
No, as a matter of fact, many of the people are quite tired of this rulership.
Sounds it. There are ways. There are ways.
I might just have a way you can help.
Well, that would be great because then we don't have to figure it out as we go. We start with a plan.
Kadeth,
Mm-hmm.
you casted Detect Magic, correct?
Yep.
Okay. You see in the bar, outside of just your normal people, and you kind of see Forsyth get up and walk out and follow the guy from the bar. You do see at that table, there are several of the people at that table have magic on them.
Okay.
Everything from possibly an amulet to a ring to a weapon to almost everybody has something magical at that table. A few other people scattered throughout the room also have some magical items.
Okay.
And they all seem to be, for lack of a better term, lesser magic. There's nothing that's like massively powerful that you're seeing. They're all, your own party grows, probably 5 times brighter.
Right.
None of them are of great magical enchantments or anything like that, but there is magic there. None of them seem to be, which Forsyth you would have seen this, well, no, because you'd have to cast that to see it, but none of them seem to be using any kind of illusionary magic. Nobody's looking like something other than themselves. So that's kind of in the clear. There's no illusionary magic going on here.
Okay.
And that's just kind of the general feel.
Other than Forsyth, but
yeah, other than Forsyth.
But
although his was a shapeshift, not illusion.
His isn't an illusion. Yeah.
So
that's the fun part.
Yeah. So yeah, you're not seeing anything that would stand out and say, "Ooh, that's a powerful mage over there," or anything like that. Like.
Okay. Well, I don't know really that there's anything else to. I just wanted to make sure that we're not, going to get surrounded by anything too bad. But
okay, you share with your group kind of what you see.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Evangeline, what are you doing? You kind of look through the crystal ball and you're just kind of taking a cat nap up in the room?
Like, oh no. Oh,
what
no.
are you doing?
I open the book. I do some recording, and I begin to research White Lake.
Okay. Asking the book about White Lake. You get a little bit of information. You get that Selascar founded the town around the Third Age. After major calamity and cities fell, and there's the earthquake, the ground quake. I don't know. Do we still call it earthquake? And that the Great Slab split. Things like that. That's the period that you kind of see in this. It was after all of that he founded this town. And it seemed that, you kind of get that he founded this town as a waypoint almost, because it is the only town within miles, and that seems to still hold true today. That it's the only town for miles. Although it seems through some of the stuff that you read in the book that it stopped being a waypoint and people just kind of stayed there, and people stopped coming through probably about mid Fourth Age, maybe, that people stopped coming through that direction. So it's kind of just whoever's here is here. They don't get a whole lot of extraneous people.
Okay. Do they have... Oh, wait, sorry, never mind. I'm not there.
I mean, if Evangeline wants to waylay or relay all of that mentally,
once I get that, I will definitely relay that information just to continue on.
Okay.
If I'm gonna stay here for a week, I want to know what I'm getting into.
All right. She relays that information mentally. Forsyth, you kind of hear Evangeline relaying information you already know while you're talking to Harvin or Herman. Herman.
How do they make money? Import, export. What's their source of
their biggest? You figure it started out as kind of just a waypoint, and so money exchanged hands. That's just what happened. Right. But since it became a town itself, its major export is, I gotta find my spot.
Turtle eggs.
Turtle eggs is turtle eggs is an export. It's not their major export. Their major export is mining. And it doesn't say specifically in here, but I'm gonna say it's gonna be coal. Why the hey not? Because I've been listening to way too much of Old Gods of Appalachia. And it feels like that type of town.
The coal town.
A scary town.
A scary town. So yeah, their major export is coal. And people come in, but they never leave.
Do they have
check out anytime you like, but you can never leave?
Oh Lord. Does coal do well for them?
I mean, yeah. I mean, the town itself has expanded since the little, tiny little town that was developed as a waypoint. This is an inn that Forsyth took you to kind of straight up. I mean, he knew where this was, and it's a decent inn. Like, it's not hurting or anything. Nothing's in shambles. At least not that you've seen. There is a little bit, you did pass a little bit poorer section of town, but it wasn't the homeless. Yeah, it was nicer than the outskirts of Uxvan. It seems to be doing well with this export. That's from the best of your knowledge. Somebody's got to pay these guards.
And Evangeline could probably deduce at this point that Fix is thinking more like, is there enough meat on the bone for the jagged dream here? As he just goes into these questions that he's never really asked much about before.
Yeah. And you think about it, there's definitely money to be had if you take control of the town because of the coal. If done appropriately, there's money to be had. But as far as the jagged dream, the town has got its own order. Like, the values of the jagged dream to create chaos, to bring about change and things like that. I mean, you're not really sensing any of that yet.
Okay.
Per se. But there's definitely money. Like, if you want to rub elbows and say, hey, cut me in a little bit, there's definitely money.
Okay.
Are you doing anything else, Evangeline? What the book gives you is basically a rundown of just like, a little blurb of, like, if you Googled Cincinnati, oh, it's population this, and you get that little blurb of a city and kind of its founder.
That's good.
Yeah.
Just kind of getting an overview. I'm gonna draw.
Okay. You're gonna start drawing.
Yeah.
In the book or a separate sheet of paper?
On parchment.
With your special ink?
With my special ink.
Okay. You begin to draw. You kind of hear Evangeline mentally check out. She's focused on something else. Cadet, you just still hanging out?
Yeah, at the moment.
Okay. All right. Forsyth.
Letting everybody do their thing.
All right. Hervin, after he says, I might just have something for you, looks at you and says, if you and your group, because I saw you at the bar, I know who you were with, if you and your group would like to meet at the water's edge, which is, this to be another inn near the docks, or a tavern. It's not really an inn, it's just a tavern. It's like where the sailors go. And it says, if you, oh, you are muted. Are you saying something?
I said the sailors is a relative term on White Lake.
Well, that's true. That is very relative. The ferrymen, that's where the ferrymen go to drink.
The boat people.
The boat people and the fishers. There's fishing, to be had. But the water's edge, if you and your group would like to meet at the water's edge, say, 10 o'clock tonight. Keyword. Oh gosh, I gotta give a keyword. Keyword tsunami. I was like, the first one that popped in my head would be really bad because everybody would, yeah. Keyword tsunami.
It's not New England clam chowder.
New England clam chowder. Yeah, no. I could make it clam chowder. Anyway, tsunami, and they'll let you in. I'm gonna meet with a few people tonight to discuss options.
Okay, this works for me. I will consult with my friends, and we will make a determined effort to be there.
All right. Good. Then until then, best to keep your other form.
Oh, I shall. I just wanted you to know who you were dealing with.
Yes, I do appreciate that immensely. I will let Deal know. Actually, Deal will probably be there. And yeah, and yeah, keep the other form, because
I shan't be showing my true form to your friends.
That's probably good. They though you have been gone for some time, and now in the back of considered a cold case, I guess I should say. You have not been completely forgotten. You are still on a wanted list. So
yeah, I figured that because my family doesn't like me.
Yeah.
So yeah. We will play it very, very keen and close to the vest, so to speak.
That would be wise.
But it was nice to catch up with you. As you can see, my life has progressed wonderfully, and most of that is because of my friends. So I think you'll like them. They're a really good group of people.
Oh, that is good. It is good to have friends around. Help keep you out of trouble.
Nothing keeps me out of trouble.
We just help pull him out of it.
I've just learned how to use trouble to my advantage.
That is wise. All right. Then I will.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I will see you in the evening then.
See you at around 10-ish.
All right.
And I will change form, reach out, shake his hand, and I bid you adieu.
Shake your hand.
I'm going to go learn things.
Excellent. Enjoy your, as he opens the door and you kind of walk out, he'll say, enjoy your stay at White Lake.
Oh, yes. It's an interesting little town you have here. I will joke.
And he will go on about his business, shut the door.
All right.
Do you head back to the Turtle Inn?
Not immediately.
Okay.
All right. I have some other things I'd like to do before I go back there.
Okay. All right. Well, it's a little early because I am thinking about it because I need to. I think we need to take a break. I'm starting to get really fidgety.
I understand.
So we'll be back
Works
at
for
10.
me. And we're back.
All right.
We're back.
Did you miss us? Oh.
There
so,
ain't never
With
that good.
every shot.
I know, right? At every shot. All right. We are at a spot where Forsyth just got invited to a meeting that seems to be secretive. And you are leaving Harvin's estate, but you did not want to go back to the inn directly. Where
Right.
would you like to go?
Candy store.
Oh, well, okay.
And I would know where that is.
Yes, you do. You know how to get to it from any direction.
And this time I actually plan on paying for it.
That's a nice surprise.
I ran out of my stash of hard candies that I was carrying around with me. So I'm going to,
okay.
And that's dual purpose. First of all, there's always kids who are needing some employment.
Yep.
And it's a good way to reach them.
It is a good way to reach them. All right, so you stop by the candy store. You find the, I don't know, whatever, the peppermint drops and licorice drops and all of those little hard candies.
Even some lemon drops, because some kids,
lemon drops.
Some kids are sour.
Oh goodness, yes. So you pick up some candy. It's silver, like it's not expensive at all for candies. And where do you go next?
That's okay. I bought a gold worth.
Okay.
Different ones. Next, I am going to.
You are muted, Rhonda, if you said something to us. Oh,
I'm going to wander around town to my old haunts, and I actually
okay.
calmly walk by my old neighborhood to see if that's where my parents are still living.
Okay. You walk by your old neighborhood. When you pass by your house, it definitely looks like there is stuff there. People do live there, but it does not look like it has been lived in for probably 2 months or so.
Okay.
But there's definitely stuff there.
I will note that and probably gain a desire to come back when no one else is on the streets, since I know my way around the streets.
Yeah, you could probably get away with that.
And I'll just saunter on, walking by old friends' houses, and just wishing that times had changed earlier in life.
Yeah. All right. As you walk by, you do notice that pretty much the town has remained generally the same. I mean, there are some things that have been, that has been updated. You know, the thatched roof is now, a slatted roof or whatever. You have seen some things get updated, but the town itself is pretty much the same. And as far as you can tell, probably where your friends used to live or your people that you ran around with, they either still live there as adults or their parents still live there, or nothing really.
More things
ever
change,
changes.
the more they stay the same.
Exactly.
Yeah. I get that.
Yep.
But I also know you can't go home.
Yep. And then you eventually make your way back to the Turtle Inn, I assume.
Yeah. Yes, eventually.
Okay.
Probably a couple hours, but
okay.
Lost in thought.
All right. Do you share anything mentally about the meeting before you get back to the inn?
Yeah, I will, because that way they're all aware in advance in case they want to get some sleep first.
Okay.
And yeah, once I get back to the inn, I will get myself a short rest.
Okay. All right. Forsyth is still gone. You know he's still in the city, Fix, because you can still sense him in the city. But he does share the invite to the meeting that evening, that night, at this other inn, with all three of you, of course, even though Evangeline, you're up in the room. What do you guys wish to do while it's taking Forsyth a couple of hours to get back?
You know what I'm doing.
Oh yeah, you're drawing.
She's falling into a picture.
You're falling into a picture. What are you thinking about while you're drawing?
Nothing in particular.
Nothing in particular?
Occasionally my thoughts might stray.
As you kind of check out while you're drawing, thinking about nothing in particular, but every now and then having images of a certain young man in key. When you finally check back in, you've realized you have drawn Gavian. You have drawn Gavian with some details that you don't recall. In your drawing, you have drawn a scar on Gavian. It runs from just underneath his eye down and hits his neck and kind of stops about halfway down his neck, like just before a major artery. There's a huge scar that kind of just comes down the side of his face. You also notice that there is a scar that comes across the opposite side of his arm from elbow across and down to like his pinky, like inside of elbow down to pinky. There's a huge long scar there. Neither of which you recall ever seeing on him.
Do they look like battle scars or purposeful cuts?
No, it definitely doesn't look like purposeful cuts. It looks like it doesn't even look like a cut type of scar, where it's a nice smooth line. It's jagged and kind of looks nasty. It looks like it was caught on something and ripped kind of thing. This one's a little bit smoother, but this one is really kind of jagged and gnarly.
Okay. I'm going to roll the paper up.
Okay.
Parchment. Put all my stuff away. Go back downstairs to the table. Find everybody but Forsyth, who's out going around doing whatever.
All right.
And I'll sit down and I will sit it in front of Fix.
Does it look like wounds that I have heard of that may have been healed or covered?
No, you've never seen these scars on him, as to your recollection, and there's been no stories like around the family or anything of him being involved in anything that might cause something like that.
I'm still connected with my mother. I'm going to send her a mental image of it and say, have any explanation?
It is in the afternoon. You have lost connection with your mother.
Oh, I didn't know we'd been sitting here hours. I thought it
I said it would be hours.
Right. Okay. But we've been sitting. I didn't know we'd been sitting in the tavern for hours. I thought it'd be maybe an hour.
Gotcha. No, you've been in the tavern for some time.
Okay.
So, if you wanted to do something before Evangeline came down to kind of fill that time, I don't mind to retroactively, if you wanted to take a walkabout, that's fine.
If it had been hours, Fix would have probably gone up to his room and done some forging, adding more of the dragon scales. But coming back down, I don't know what these are. Looking at the marks, one is more jagged than the other, correct?
Yes.
So one looks like it was done with a blade and the other one with something else.
Right.
How detailed are her drawings?
Her drawings can get very detailed. Some parts of it are not as detailed, like sometimes almost like you would take a picture, how it focuses in one area but everything else is kind of blurry. That's kind of how she draws. She'll have a focal point and then everything that's kind of in a different dimension from that will become blurry to some degree. So that's kind of her details. And Gavian himself is detailed. It was painfully obvious that Evangeline is thinking very much of your brother.
Looking at his clothing and weapons, are they of current use?
Yes. Though tattered a little bit, like his normal like leather, because he wears black leather when he's out and about doing things. Where he might face danger or whatever. He's wearing leather. And it does definitely look worn. There's some scratch marks on it that look like maybe from some kind of creature and whatnot. So it's more worn and it's seen more damage since you've last seen him in it. But it is the same clothes or same armor and stuff.
Perhaps you're
Gavian on my stone.
Perhaps you've drawn what has yet to come?
It is possible. I have drawn things that I have not seen.
But you have ways to communicate.
Do what?
But you do have a way to communicate with them.
Yes, I do. I'm getting ready to do so.
Because if I do it, he's going to be stuck with me for a day.
Well, when Evangeline does it, she gets 25 words or less an explanation.
Right.
But I will contact him.
Okay.
And then we'll know if we want to contact him further.
True. Valid.
I will contact him. And I will ask, what is your location? Drew a disturbing picture of you, and I'm concerned. Are you okay? And I'll let it go.
Okay. Are you pooping? He will respond. On my way to, oh, no, he will respond, going to Yashul. Mother needs some help. I am fine. Wish I knew how disturbing. Disturbing in a good way.
I will relay to Fix that he's on his way to Yashul to help your mother. He is fine. But I'm concerned.
Well, I think we should be on guard and maybe check with him again in the morrow.
Definitely.
I don't think it warrants intruding on his mind just yet.
Just yet. And I'm going to take the drawing and I'm going to investigate it very close and see if I can see any other maybe less obvious details on the surrounding, on things like given the intimate relationship, his face, his eyes, checking out his clothing. To see if there's any other indicators of what might have happened.
Okay. Roll me. I will go ahead and have you roll me an investigation.
A 25.
All right. As you're kind of looking really closely at the picture, you notice you're not real sure about the scar on his face. His eyes look a little more haunted, like he has seen something he would prefer not to see. His eyes look a little bit more haunted. You're not real sure about the scar on his face. It is a smooth cut, probably done by a blade, probably a small blade, like a dagger or a knife or something of that nature. The rip on his arm, the way his arm is sitting, you notice immediately that the rip on his arm it's a thick kind of scar and it tapers off to the pinky. So it probably whatever ripped his arm got him in the elbow, and kind of he was pulling away, and that's why it kind of tapered off to the pinky. And where that scrape is, you notice also on the armor some markings. It doesn't look rough. It doesn't look like it's a fresh, because it's a scar. Nothing's fresh. But you do notice that the armor does bear old markings of two other scrapes across his body. Almost like something three-toed, had got him like across here, landed in his elbow, maybe about here, and then across on the other shoulder and pulled and was pulling downward, and he was pulling away, and that is what, because that was exposed.
Does it look like possible dragon claw?
Big enough to be.
I will share everything that I'm seeing, of course. Everything that I've pulled out. Giving that, I know he is heading to his mother, who is with dragons.
Looking at the picture, based on the size of the claw or whatnot, the marking, can I tell whether or not it would be as big or bigger than the one we fought?
Kind of judging because you got up close and personal with the with that dragon.
All
yeah, all up in his business.
Yeah.
It would be at least that size.
The wear on his how old does the scar seem to be in the picture?
The scar looks like it's healed, like it's new
Years
skin,
old.
but it's some time, yeah.
Okay. I would relay that the size and the time, based on general wear and tear, about how long would it take to wear armor that in that manner?
General wear and tear?
Well, as general as Gavian's duties and proclivities.
Given his proclivities, honestly, he could probably, with good care and maintenance, he could make a leather armor to last a lifetime. Because he doesn't get into a whole lot of hand-to-hand stuff. He's sneaky. But on an average, knowing about the guards in Rarmon and knowing a little bit about some of the guards in Key and whatnot, leather armor, a decent leather armor, and you take care of it, would last you 5 to 10 years, depending on how well you keep track of it.
Looking at the scars.
And how many battles you get into, but,
Right. Looking at the scars, they're healed. But do they look like fresh healed? Or no pink, no new skin healed, or really old?
Definitely new skin. It's not scab. It's not anything like that. It is definitely new skin. It is definitely a scar. It's reached that point where whatever healing that might do to mitigate the scar is done. The scar is there, unless there's some kind of magical means to get rid of it. But it's about, you figure from your drawing and being able to focus on it a little bit and kind of pull a little bit of color, because you tend to do that. It is still pink skin. It's new skin. That skin hasn't seen a whole lot of time and sun and things like that. So you probably figure if he were standing in front of you, that area of his arm would probably still be a bit sensitive.
Okay.
But it's not a fresh wound. It's healed. It would just be sensitive.
So, Fix, do we think we're maybe heading in the same place that something could be going? Do you think something could be going on with your mother and the dragons, and that's why she has called him there?
Possible. She didn't mention anything up until a couple hours ago when I lost connection with her, but she doesn't exactly check in with me.
No parent checks in with their child. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. And Bix has not even tried to, and would never dream of pulling the whole "I'm your boss" card. So So next time you draw one of these, Evangeline, could you maybe draw a calendar with it, with the date circled?
Can you timestamp them?
Yes.
Well, I wasn't really thinking about time period. I was just really kind of thinking of other things.
You know, well, I can tell what you were thinking of, but, or you know what, even the night sky with a landmark, and then I can calculate that easier than just a blank page. But
that's true. At night with the stars, you might be able to calculate something.
Well, let's see. I could go and do some communing and see if I can find out maybe some additional information. What time is it? Oh, go. What time is it?
What time is it?
How much time do I have?
It is approximately, I don't know, 5 o'clock in the evening. Forsyth is probably getting is walking in about now.
Is your, I don't know much about your god, but are they going to get annoyed with you asking them what they may see as trivial questions?
They have before.
To be my god, they have to answer my trivial questions. Well, they don't have to, but they can't get annoyed with it. They called me. Oh, well, one called me. The other one, I called him.
Yes. But have you ever communicated with somebody and then you regret communicating with them? We don't want more gods that are not happy with us, especially when they help us.
Well, so far, only one of them has growled at me.
Ah. Well, then, by all means, let's shoot for the other.
Well, the other two. The one that growled at me was a third one.
Oh, Lord.
I have very little charisma. And I just think, hey, I don't have to serve one god. Different gods do different things. I might need something different this week. I'll go upstairs because I don't want to do this like in the middle of the bar. The tavern.
It is starting to pick up even further.
Really not even in front of anybody in this town because it's a little sus. I'll go upstairs and I am going to lay all, like I do. I'll even pull the cards because I'm not sure. We have a void card and a rune card. Is that the only two we have right now?
I think that's the only two you have right now.
So I'll set my stuff out around me and open the book and got the quill and I got the ink and, just I got my crystal orb there. Just my stuff. And I will first commune with the near.
All right. You open up the book. You do your ritual. And you fall into this little bit of a trance where it's open.
Answer with me, damn it. What do you want? Oh.
I know, right? How many questions you gonna ask me this time?
Just 3. That's all you'll let me ask. Wait a minute.
Then he
I'm
shuts the door.
supposed to be asking the questions, not you.
Oh, nope, that's already one.
You can ask all the questions you want, but they're a quarter each.
Yeah.
First thing I'll ask is...
Hi, this is Bob. Had a baby. It's a boy.
No, Bob's not having the baby.
Oh, that's
Joe
true.
is.
I am not having no baby.
My kids.
Shortened versions of their middle name.
They named themselves Tony Joe, Phil Bob, and Alron.
Alron. Anyway.
Boys, they're so much fun. I love them. First question is, I'm going to ask Denier is there an issue or problem happening in Yashul? Is that the right one?
Yashul.
Yashul. With the dragons and Arias Trinston.
You get kind of a drawn out yes. Almost like it's not set in stone.
All right, that works.
It's a unknown future.
Is Fune in any way connected to this?
No.
Is Fune up to something in White Lake?
No. The pages flutter and the book shuts.
Oh. Well, she's doing that. Cross. Fix would leave the tavern though.
Okay. Forsyth comes in, checks in, goes upstairs to take a nap, can get himself a short rest, and you head out of the tavern.
Going to the forge.
Like your forge?
No, the smithy.
No,
the smithy. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yes, I have instituted a forge in every city.
In every city. Like,
especially this one.
The smithy. All right. Do you take a cadet with you, or do you leave him there at the table?
I like stand up. I'm like, I'm gonna go to the smithy. You want to join me?
Sure.
Is this after I get back or before?
It's after.
Probably
you
right about as you're coming
checked in. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Can you give me an hour
before I go?
Yeah, because I'd like to go with you, but I want to get a short rest in here.
I'll sit back down. Sure.
All right.
This is only like 2 in the afternoon. So.
No, it's about 5. It's around 5. Yeah.
Oh.
We have plenty of time.
You got time still.
Okay. Yeah, because I think it'd be wise for me to be prepared.
So I'm going to look in my crystal orb next.
Okay.
You just never know what's going to happen in a place like this, especially if my sister is involved.
Ain't that the truth? All right, you pull out your crystal orb.
I doubt she has a tiara like mine.
And I'll hold it, and I will actually speak to Severus. I'll speak out loud. Severus. And ask, can I see Arias Trinston? Please.
Please.
And I will feel for pulses.
All right, so you focus in on Arias and you ask to be shown Arias. You will get a vision of Arias. She's flying on Seti, the Drake. You kind of see the city in the background. You assume that is Yashul. I mean, it has very similar properties to what you have drawn of Yashlin. So you're pretty sure that that's Yashul. She seems to, I don't know, just be flying about. You know how some people just wander the city. She wanders the skies.
While I'm with her, I want to make note if I see anything around her, like maybe dragons out in the distance, anything that might be of note.
Okay.
In my view.
So you focus on the horizons
the peripheral.
Okay. Kind of, you know, as you're following her and you start to focus on the peripheral, every now and then you see a glint off in the horizon. It's very far, but it's kind of just a very quick shimmer of what would be maybe, you know, how you do mirrors or whatever. Every now and then you just catch something, but you have no idea what it is, and it is very far away. Even that little glint, and you focus on that little glint, it looks like nothing's there.
Okay.
But that little bitty glint was like way in the distance.
I will let my mind wander to Gavian.
All right.
Because I know that's where he's headed.
as you focus to Gavian, you get a moment of dizziness, a little bit of confusion, like almost how you might feel when you're overstimulated. Everything just kind of shuts down. That's you get a moment of that, and then suddenly you see Gavian standing on the ground, and you kind of looking around him a little bit. You see Yashul a little in the distance, and he begins to walk that direction.
The proximity of him to Yashul and Arias to Yashul. Mm-hmm. Trying to do a tongue twister. Does he seem about the same distance, or does it feel like that he's further away from the city in the background?
He is probably a little closer to the city.
Okay, that's fine. That's
yeah.
a fair option. Okay. as I start to pull out, I'll just be thinking in my mind to Severus that I get the sense from Denier that something may happen there, but it's not set in stone. Just kind of like randomly just talking like I'm still talking to Severus, just talking. Not really expecting anything, but just stating it.
You kind of just see the orb get real cloudy.
I've seen this before. And I'll just pull out and I'll just set my orb down. I'll just look for a few minutes at my stuff and start putting my stuff away.
Okay.
And I'll take an extra glance at the cards to see if anything has changed on either one of them.
All right. No, it all still looks the same.
All right.
So, a little bit of time passes. Forsyth, you come back down from your short rest. You get a short rest.
Right.
It's pretty peaceful. People seem to leave you alone, although, you still get some looks because you're new. And
tall and blue.
Tall and blue, yep. And you guys get ready to head to the smithy. Evangeline, you come down for a little dinner and you see them getting ready to go to the smithy. You want to go with? Oh, go ahead.
During that hour that we were waiting for Wilbur.
Wilfred.
Wilfred, that's sorry. Wilfred.
Wilbur?
Fix would have pulled out some of his jeweler's tools and such and been working on a couple small pieces.
Okay.
Kind of to pass the time.
All right. Yeah. You get some work done on some small pieces. Absolutely.
I'll eat a quick bite and go to the smithy with them.
Okay. All right. So everybody packs up and heads out the door to the smithy. Forsyth kind of gives you some directions to get there, so that you don't
moved.
wander around the. Yeah, he ain't moved. Once you build a forge, it's kind of hard to move it.
Not without some heavy equipment.
Right?
Mine moves just fine. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, that's true, but yours is smaller than his too.
Mine is made to move.
You ain't making horseshoes.
So you head out to the smithy. You see, as you're walking up, you see immediately that this is an open, like his forge is open. Oh, cool. You could see him. He's hammering away at something. If you take a little look, it does look like it's probably a horseshoe. He's hammering away and throws it in the fire, and throws it, hammers it some more, shoves it in water. You see the steam. You can hear it, you can see it, you can smell it. As you're walking up, it's open.
Anything other than horseshoes?
As you glance around, you do see some shields and some some armor pieces, like bracers and some pauldrons and various other things, that pieces, like you don't see full sets of armor just hanging around, but lots of pieces here and there hanging in various places, and some weaponry, basic like long swords, some daggers.
I'll look to Kadath. Any of it magic?
I'll check.
As you look at it, no. Nothing seems to be glowing. with magic. Although you can sense with some of that arcana, you can sense that all of this is crafted well enough to be enchanted, but none of it is chanted. None of it has anything on it.
Would it be considered masterwork or?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, Fix would look at it with an appraising eye as well to see, just how well it's made.
It's very finely made. It's stuff that you can tell the way it's made that this is something he's very comfortable with. It's something he can do without really thinking a whole lot too. He's been doing it for many a year.
Very fine wares. You don't happen to know any place in town where it might sell a little bit more exotic things, do you?
Absolutely. There's a shop just down the way, and he'll kind of point you in a direction that is I don't know, the Waters Emporium. I don't know. I got to think of better names.
White Lake Wizardry.
The White Lake Wizardry. If you go over there, they have several things that are a little bit more exotic and can often do more than what the eye perceives. They often purchase some of my items to enchant as well. Are you looking for anything in specific?
Just perusing.
Okay, all right.
I'll kind of take a look over the link. Is he good people or no? To Forsyth.
Forsyth, the smithy is neutral. It's all about the money.
He's Switzerland, no, Sweden.
He works for a living. He gets his small percentage to the king, and he lives his life.
I'll look to him. Interested in expanding your skill set?
What do you have in mind? I mean, I'm always up to learn something new. It can only help.
Take a small, like relatively small ingot of obtainium out and set it on the countertop.
And he'll look at it and he'll pick it up and kind of examine it. Interesting. I mean, I've seen some things with this type of metal. I've never actually worked with it. What type of metal is it? I mean, I could tell it's not our usual type. I just don't know what it's called.
We call it obtainium. And he'll go into like geeked out metallurgy discussion of it.
He'll probably geek out a little bit with you without divulging his own secrets, of course.
There's no secrets being divulged. This is just general metallurgic facts.
Yeah. So. It's like, this is very interesting. I've never worked with this before. What can I give you for it?
There'll come a time where I'll need a favor. Oh.
I mean, the town is not remiss to dealing in favors, that is for sure, based on Forsyth's description.
Yeah. It's a stock and trade for some people.
It is.
No, essentially that. He'll just say, just remember this when I need a favor.
All right. Okay. I mean, within reason, of course.
Well, I'm not going to ask for your firstborn or your second or any of your children. I don't want children. But well.
Ever?
Yeah.
Did you clear that?
Wait, I might have said that too fast. Wait.
He starts thinking. He starts kind of fiddling with something. But.
All right. I will work with this. I'll see what I can come up with.
I'd be interested to see what you do. and then he'll head over to the White Lake Wizardry Emporium.
Okay.
Shopping.
You see him kind of turn around and kind of set it off to the side while he finishes his horseshoe. Everybody's following Fix, or is there anything that you would like to do at the smithy?
Oh no, I'm gonna follow Fix.
Okay.
I just want to see him get in trouble.
Fix never gets in trouble.
Yeah,
that he
right.
can't get out of.
With our help.
Yeah.
All right, so you head over to the wizardries. As you approach the shop, you see that there is, it's kind of draped in like fabrics almost, that kind of shimmer just a little bit in the sunlight. As you know, the breeze kind of moves them, they kind of shimmer just a little bit. It's really cool. And it gives it just almost like a glitter look. You walk in and you open the door, and a waft of smell instantly hits you of like rose petal and sandalwood. You kind of get those smells that come at you almost immediately when you open the door. And you walk in. There's some shelves and some tables and things with some knickknacks and trinkets and things of that nature, all kind of scattered throughout the shop. And it doesn't seem to be manned right away. Like you don't see anybody immediately.
I'm having flashbacks.
He's looking for a cat.
Wait.
No.
Shallow.
I'm looking for a book of names.
Oh. Some of them are crossed off.
I mean, it's the town to do it.
Who is this Captain Browning person? Who is this Hadriana person?
No. After you walk in, you kind of start to look around. After a few minutes, you hear a door, and you kind of look up, and you see a woman walking out. She's older. She's not elderly, but she's older. She's not a young woman. But she walks out. She has a mild limp, and she says, "Oh, good day to you, visitors. What brings you into my shop? Are you looking for anything in particular?"
An immovable rod.
Oh.
Someone. Maybe.
That can be given to you. I mean, most of the immovable rods tend to go to the mining company. I'm just saying. But I do have some. Would you like one? Just
yes.
one?
Well, unless they want one, this is what I want.
Are you guys looking for anything? The rest of you?
Let's see. Angeline's just looking around at items.
Okay.
Because she's got an attunement slot open.
It's like, what else can I do?
So, question for you, Jody.
Yes.
A decent portion of like our escapades have resulted in sort of like investments that are hand waved to come to fruition at a later date. Like, what sort of access to capital does Fix have at this point with the selling of the gems and all that stuff?
You would have access to quite a bit of capital with the gems and things of that nature. So it's kind of how much do you want to carry with you on a regular basis? Because they already, your name holds no weight here. Like you've already seen that from the guards and from various other people. Like nobody's like, okay, that's nice.
Right. No, and I wouldn't expect it.
Yeah. So there's no like, oh, my family will take care of this or anything like that. But so it's all kind of depends on how much you want to carry. Now you do have a bag of holding that can carry quite a bit. So
and there's gems rather than just gold.
Yes, and there's gems.
They have the rod. Happen to have a second tier amulet of the devout.
Oh, that. I believe I know what you are talking about. But isn't that divine?
Why, yes, I am. Oh, yes, it is.
Yeah, I have no such divinities here.
Understood. Thought I'd ask, but the rod, yes.
All right. I will get the rod for you. One moment. And she'll step back through the door and she will disappear for a little bit.
I want a bottle of Boundless coffee. Oh.
I want one of those in real life.
I mean, you might find it in here.
I'm looking at
it. you would probably find something like that here, to be perfectly honest. About 5 minutes go by and she comes out with a rod and she hands it or lays it down for you on a table and says, here is an immovable rod.
I'll examine it and identify it.
It is an immovable rod. She's not trying to scam you or nothing.
Well, what
it
I've
does
been
what
told
you
in this
expect it
town.
to do.
Okay.
This is true. She doesn't flinch. If you sit there and identify it, she doesn't flinch at it. She's, it's expected. She's fine with it. It's not like she's gonna be nasty because you wanted to double check.
And how much would you like for this?
I make them rather frequently. They're starting to become second nature to me. Doesn't take as much time as it used to. 2,500.
That sounds more than fair.
Good.
And I'll actually give her 3,000 worth of gems.
Nice. She will say, much appreciated.
And then go and be nosy at what
what Evangeline's
doing. Yeah.
Cadet, I know you do detect magic a lot, and it's not a problem for you. You kind of walking around here, you see most of these items that are on display are similar in power and whatnot of the enchantments that you saw kind of just scattered throughout townspeople and within the tavern that you saw earlier. So a lot of minor enchantments and things of that nature. Nothing that's going to be, no vorpal blades or anything like that.
Right. Pretty standard stuff.
Yep, pretty standard stuff.
Okay.
While Evangeline shops, you find a few flasks of endless liquid or whatever, like bottomless whiskey, yeah, bottomless coffee, of the Turkish variety. You find there are definitely like rings of protection. There are a couple of like what are they, the amulet of or the periat of health. Yeah, there's a couple of those. There is one that seems to be a little bit more powerful, that she has labeled it second chance, which you see on there that it's a little bit, it's probably a death ward of some kind, one-time use. And it's very obvious most of these things that are in here would be very handy for minors.
Makes sense.
Let's see.
So Rhonda's shopping for her dust of deliciousness and her.
Actually, I am looking for some dust of disappearance.
Okay. You don't see that.
I will ask about it.
Because it has disappeared.
Because it has disappeared. You ask about it, and she kind of looks you over a little bit, and she says, "We don't deal in that here."
Too hot of a commodity? Too much risk?
Too much risk. It is frowned upon to be out of.
I will kind of cut my eyes behind me at Buckley and say, sometimes some things just need to be obscured.
Not that I don't disagree. However, items such as that, if caught upon your person, could land you into a bit of trouble.
I understand from what I see in this town.
And the key is not to be caught.
True.
Which dust of disappearance would help greatly with.
Yep. There it is. Someone.
Does this seem like she's genuinely saying, I don't have any because it's frowned upon, or is it
because I don't want to get in trouble?
I don't have any for you because it's frowned upon?
Roll me an insight check.
I was going to say, I couldn't roll an insight.
I mean, well, my passive insight.
Expertise.
My passive insight is 17, so I don't know if that would help with it, but I can roll. And hey, I rolled a 17.
Okay.
So
I was like, you generally roll higher than your passive, so go ahead and roll.
No, I rolled exactly a 10.
All right. So you have a 17. Evangeline, are you rolling that insight?
I'll give it a shot. I got a 14.
Hey, not too bad.
I think it's a plus minus 0. Yes.
Plus minus 0. You can choose. You want to add 0 or subtract 0.
Your choice.
It's your choice.
It's a benevolent DM right now.
That's right.
I'll definitely add.
I will also allow you to multiply by 0 if you'd like.
Oh, cool. I want to multiply it by 0 because then it will become a 0.
Exactly.
Yeah. What if we want to divide by 0?
That's impossible.
It becomes imaginary numbers at that point.
Nope. No, not imaginary numbers.
No.
Imaginary numbers are a real thing.
Yes, they are.
That's right.
Now
we get to have a math debate.
Well, there's no debating involved. I'm just going to tell you how it is.
Dividing by 0 is undefined.
Trigonometry.
Not
my thing.
I thought dividing by 0 causes a black hole.
No.
No, that would be your bag of holding with a portable.
Oh.
No. Anyway, your insight out of 17, and you pick up that Evangeline, even with your 14, you pick up she knows a little bit more than what she's willing to divulge. With a 17, it's she doesn't have the dust of disappearance, but she definitely knows how to get it.
So, tell me, if we're wanting to stay out of trouble, so what should we not do in order to ensure we stay out of trouble?
What should you not do?
So, I mean, like, for instance, should we not go 3 doors down and knock thrice and tell them that, so and so sent us?
She smiles. To stay out of trouble here, it is best not to involve yourself with illusionary magic.
Why? Why is illusionary magic so disfavored? Typically, it's fireball or things like that that is frowned upon.
Fair. However, with the illusionary magic, the powers that be here would prefer to know who they're dealing with.
Did something happen to cause this mistrust?
Or someone?
In the back of my mind, my eyes are looking at Forsyth.
Forsyth has done something. There was a time where there was no rules or laws based on illusionary magic that the guards no longer knew exactly who they were chasing. It's really hard to capture a criminal if the criminal is changing their face.
I knew somebody that would do that. Here's you do know you can do that with makeup, right? They do realize that it's not just magic.
Yes.
Like, I know some people very, very versed in such things.
Very skilled in some things, yes. That is true.
Gabian comes to mind.
Yeah, he would do pretty good. Yeah, I mean, there's always ways around rules.
I prefer just bursting straight through them, but okay.
Yeah, bursting straight through them, though, can get you in trouble with the whole town. Walking around them can sometimes avoid that.
Well, I'm trying to... What did that guard say? Keep our nose clean.
Precisely.
Whatever that means.
Hey.
Go wash your face.
It's not my fault the dragon came after us, okay?
I'm not sure about that.
I wasn't...
Who kept ringing the bell?
It wasn't his bell.
I know that, but...
And I had to teach... Well, we had to teach him.
Evangeline, did you find something to purchase?
Probably. I am going to see if she has any scrolls.
Oh, what are you looking for?
looking for a scroll. What is it called?
Well, it is hard to find something if you don't know what you're looking for.
Well, something like a message.
Okay, there's message.
Sending.
There is sending.
Sending.
Okay.
Sending.
A scroll of sending. I can provide that for you. Most definitely. She'll give me one moment. And she goes over to a case, and she kind of waves her hand over it. You can
Magic
unlocks it. Opens up the case and kind of flips through some of these rolled parchments and kind of pulls one out. Opens it just a little. Yep. Closes it, waves her hand, walks over. Scroll of sending. I have no idea how much it is, but you can take minus 10% off of Kasoon. I have no idea how much it is in here.
And I would like also, because they're relatively minor, pick up some potions of healing.
That she can provide. She's like, I have an herbalist in town that provides me with potions here. And she pulls out 2 standard potions of healing.
The scroll's going to cost you $270.
Okay.
And is that all you're looking for?
No, but it seems to be all that you can help us with.
Do you have a potion of growth?
Growth.
Gross.
I mean, I'm sorry if Gavian has a problem.
I would think shrinking would be more likely in this town, but
Oh, Gavian has no problem.
She will kind of, you hear some clink, clink, clink as she goes through like a chest, and she pulls out a potion, kind of swirls it around. She's like, yeah.
It's past the expiration date, but here you go. Oh.
Yeah, should work.
Maybe. Possibly.
I don't get requests for those very often, but every now and then. So I do have one on hand.
I like to carry weird things.
As I can see.
I point to the construct behind her.
And I still have an open attunement slot. Oh, let's see.
Well, you're here for 5 days. You know, if you think of something that might take a little bit of time, I might be able to enchant. Depending on what you're asking for, of course. You could think on it.
I will think about it.
I'm here all week, and the week after that. Probably the week after that, too.
You should take a vacation. I hear Kia's really nice this year. Or this time of year.
Never been west of the Black Riage. I've always wanted to go.
You should.
When you get there, to check that out.
If you're looking for things to enchant when you get there, look us up. Oh, and he would have introduced himself when you walked in. Sorry.
Right. I will. I will indeed. And do you Oh. Maybe I'll think on it. I forgot that your armor already did that.
I wasn't sure when you said it, but I went back and looked at it, and yeah, so.
Okay, I'll think on it. So, You conclude some shopping. You can keep looking, Rhonda. I'm not going to say stop looking at Kasoon. You can keep looking. And you head back to the inn for a little bit. Are you going to try to transfer your scroll into your book?
I am definitely going to transfer my scroll into my book.
Okay. When you get into the room to do that, because you still have a few hours before meeting at the water's edge, when you do that, you unscroll the scroll, or you unroll the scroll, and you get your book out, and you realize that there is a piece of paper in that scroll.
Okay. I will pick it up and look at it.
It says, Dominic at the Shell's General Store.
Shell's General Store. I will complete
You copy that over?
Yeah.
I know it doesn't take you as long with the scroll or the quill in the book. I don't remember how long I told you, but I'm sure it's not going to take you the full 3 hours. And it becomes about time to go to the water's edge.
Head there.
All right.
I'm going to keep an eye out for Shell's General Store on the way.
Okay. Do you share that knowledge at all?
I will share, or I will ask Fix where the store is if he knows.
Or you're going to ask Fix?
Or not Fix. I'm going to ask Forsyth.
Fix just kind of goes, You've seen as much of this town as me.
Forsyth, you definitely know where Shell's General Store is. Matter of fact, some things you've pinched out of there, and some things you've actually given him that you've pinched. So
you sly little devil.
You definitely know where it's at.
Oh yeah.
You're pretty sure at 10 o'clock at night, though, they are not open. And,
right.
But you can tell her where it's at.
Yeah.
And
you shall readily do so.
Yep. And you head to the water's edge. When you go to the water's edge, you see that it's fairly lively. There's lots of people. Some people you all will recognize as being some of the people in the Turtle Inn. And these people were ones that were making eye contact with one another. You come in and there's some music playing and some people dancing and other people, eating and drinking, and it seems very lively.
All right. Well, I will take note of where my friend is, and I will subtly approach his group. Subtly as a blue guy wearing a tiara can.
Okay.
With a group of 8-foot tall Goliath and a tin can dwarf and a book nerd.
A book nerd and her mechanical dog.
With a huge rack.
With a huge rack. you do not see Hervin in here or Deal. You don't see either one of them. And you remember they did give you a keyword.
Right. I will go up to the bartender and say tsunami.
All right. You walk up.
I
and
actually remembered what the word
was. The bartender, the barkeep comes over and, asks what you'll have. And you're like, oh, the tsunami.
I'll have the tsunami.
I'll have the tsunami. So he pours you a drink and hands it to you, and leans in closer and whispers, to makes motion of a gentleman standing over by another door. And when you make eye contact with him, he kind of nods at you a little bit. He's aware that you have given the keyword.
All right. We will.
A lot of very communicative nods.
We will follow the nods.
All right. You walk over there and you walk through the door because he'll let you walk through the door. When you walk through the door, you do hear some noises coming from. It's a hallway with several other doors. All of them seem to be open except for one. And you hear some noises and stuff coming from that one. It's people talking. It's not like fighting noises or anything. You just hear muffled voices. One of which you do kind of pick up on is Harvin. Or Hervin.
Okay. Harvin.
Yeah.
Right. I will boldly walk in.
All right. You walk in, and there is a room. It's a small room, but there's probably about 15 to 20 people already standing in here. Hervin seems to be standing at one end of the table. There's a few people sitting in chairs at the table, but a majority of people are kind of standing along the walls and whatnot, kind of forming a semicircle in essence. You walk in and everybody immediately stops talking. And Hervin looks up and says, you made it. Come on in. And he welcomes you into the room. Once you all get in there, somebody does shut the door behind you. And it is a tight fit, but you are all in the room with Hervin. You do see Deal. Evangeline, you recognize Hervin and Deal.
Okay.
From your scrying, or from your crystal ball. You recognize Hervin and Deal. Older, but they are recognizable. And you are in this very private meeting, and that is where we're going to stop for tonight, because it is 9:30 Arizona time.
Yeah. Should be 9:34, but okay.
Well, 9:34. Yeah. All right, fix. So that is where we're going to stop for tonight. So everybody who is watching, thank you for watching. Be sure to hit that subscribe button so we can continue to grow as a channel. Like and share the video because YouTube algorithms, and comment on the video. Let us know where you're watching from, just so we can see how far we're reaching, because we have West Coast and East Coast and Australia all represented here. So we're just curious how far we're reaching. So let us know where you're at, and be sure to check out our website at danddadjokes.com to know where we're coming up next, and click on some links and go to some cons and play some games with us. We would love to have you. Is there
it's so nice to be had.
It is so nice to be had. Anything I'm missing?
Brain cells? No.
Careful, sorry. That's a little too on the nose.
Yeah.
All right. Then that is it. We will see you next week. Good night.